Regina's channel.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Regina. I do videos on simple living and saving money and decluttering. And on this issue of saving money, I have been running a series on housing, and this started when I decided to sort of buy another house in Nairobi City. If you remember, I did a video that my family and I bought an apartment in Nairobi at half the price. So you can look out for that video. I'll leave the link below. Hi, my name is Regina Mutiro. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So this topic came up. I was discussing with some friends, and the issue of building houses came up, and we come from different communities in Kenya, and allow me to talk about Kenya today, since this is my country. I love it, and it's the one that I understand better when it comes to uh, culture and people building in their villages before they build in the city, or vice versa. In some communities where you have to have a house, a simba in the village. And so I was talking with my Luya friends. All my Luya friends in the house say hi. Sela Kingoro. There are many, and besides those Luya friends of mine, there are many, even the Luo culture, and even in many cultures, where you needed to have a Simba house at home. So the discussion of, you are working in Nairobi, you are living in Nairobi, you want to build a house, you have children who are in school in Nairobi, you yourself, uh, perhaps you have no plans of retiring in the village, or perhaps you have plans of retiring in the village. Let's have both ends. So which one do you build first? Do you build in Nairobi city, or do you build in the village, or in Mombasa city? This doesn't have only to be Nairobi. I say Nairobi because I'm based in Nairobi, but it can be in another city in Kenya. And so which one do you start with? Again, the issue of where you are building comes in. Are you building a home? Are you investing in this building? What are you doing with this building? And so some of the factors and the points that came out were issues of maintenance. If, for example, you build a house in the village, and currently you're living in Nairobi, and you are sort of middle age, you're working in Nairobi, your children are going to school in Nairobi or Mombasa or Kisumu or another city, um, you don't see yourself living in that house for the next, for example, 20 years. Maybe you for example, you're working until you retire in the Kenyan retirement age, and so you don't see yourself constantly living in that house before 20 years elapse. And the only time you make use of that house is when you go to the village, maybe twice a year, or even there are those communities where people go once a year at home, or even go thrice a year, or even 4 or 5 times a year. That's the only time you make use of that house. So the issue of maintenance comes in. Who is maintaining that house? Do you have to pay someone to keep the house? Is it your mom or your parents at home who will be taking care of the house? Is How do you maintain that house? And this friend of mine built a house in the village, and I was like, you know what? Your house is not very far from the town. Like, if you are in, for example, Kitui town, and it's not very far. And I was telling them, you can put it up for Airbnb. When people come for conferences or meetings in the city, in this town of yours, Kitui, then they can access your house as Airbnb, rather than just having it there. No one is taking care of it. And I remember, even I have another friend who built a house, friend, relative, and what are these things called? Tububu is in Kikamba. Those black birds, the ones that come and dwell in on top of, inside the house, but at the top of the house, and they make a lot of noise. Then they poo a lot. Zinatoa zile pupu za black, those ones. They come and build there, they spoil your roof. They do so much on your roof. Shani, I'm coming. So issue of maintenance comes in. So as you decide where you're building your first house, then you need to consider that. And the issue of retiring as well. Maybe you're building a retirement home and you're able to maintain it, you're able to keep it. You, for example, maybe maybe your Ushago is even near Nairobi. That's where you go every weekend. So then on that case, from where I sit, then that house would make a lot of sense, and you are making use of it. And I'm not saying there's an house that is not making sense, but it's just a discussion that I think as Africans and especially Kenyans we need to have, and not to be pushed by either parents or traditions to build houses that will not make use of. Sorry, let me close this door. Yeah. Yes. So saying, as people, we need to be at a place where we have some freedom, if that is possible, where we make decisions on the, like, we are intentional on the decisions that we make. I am building in Nairobi first because that's where I'm living, and I don't want to pay rent. I have this number of children. I have 5 children. I mean, so that means if I'm renting a house this size. Or I'm building in Nairobi because I want to invest. I'm building an investment home, or invest in a house to rent out, or to sell. And that's why I'm building in Nairobi, and I'll not be affected by the decision, by the noise that people make, that I need to build in the village first. Ushago, kujenga Ushago. Sitajenga Ushago kwanza, najenga Nairobi kwa sababu 1 2 3. So for me, it's just to encourage ourselves that we sit down as a people, decide where we want to build first, and go ahead and do it, and not to be influenced by our traditions and our ancestors and our communities. I know the influence can be too much, that amjajenga nyumbani, amjajenga Nairobi, amjajenga. Maybe you don't even want to build. It's not a must that you have to have a house in Nairobi or even in the village. You have your plans as an individual, or as a couple, or whatever. What do you want for yourself? And go for it. Do you, be you, and all the best as you make this decision. I hope to see you again in this series of housing, and very soon I'm unveiling. Is it called unveiling or veiling? Ile kutoa mpango, my house, my second house. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you have not subscribed, do so, and look forward to seeing you next. Bye.